Fireball, a Fable. By J.C. Menapace. December 5, 2018. Possessed of a muscular physique and a blue beard so thick that even when clean-shaven its borderline on the skin of Fireball's cheeks remained as noticeable as a shaved spot on a furry bear. His eyebrows akin to bramble patches in full foliage, his chestnut brown eyes vacuous yet so big and so beautiful and so wet that they complemented his perpetually happy smile, causing children to love him. When he still had been a child, he'd lost his mother in a house fire that leveled 3/4 of the block on which he and his family lived. He had accidentally knocked over a lighted kerosene lantern that caused this fire. His mere presence afforded horseplay. Often deemed an imbecile, he'd never taken notice of such poor treatment. The opening of each school year found him in love with some new heartthrob. Most of the schoolgirls curbed his solicitous activities by giving him a sisterly pat on the cheek, followed by the iciest of so-called cold shoulders, his send-off as a reject. Yet, it convinced Fireball he'd taken a bride. Sincerity accompanied him everywhere, every second of every day. Banished, he accepted his fate as his just desert. Before taking his leave, he always made certain to let the door remain open unto she who had spurned him, dividing up his imaginary kingdom to include her in his last will and testament. Never rash, never bold, never hasty, never nasty, Fireball worried about everything. Painstaking self-examination, comparison of himself to others, favoritism, and brazen curiosity escaped him. Firm intention marked his mannerism in the same way that the sounding of trumpets once had marked the arrival of a king. Enriched by their laughter, the very nature of his personality enabled him to conduct himself for the greater entertainment of his audiences. Only the village shoemaker, who had 3 daughters, treated him with straightforward and honest criticism, saying such things to him as, "None of my daughters except you. You're too short, they're too tall. Nevertheless, make yourself at home." Fireball considered the gentleman simply too kind. He accepted his observations with humble pride. So welcomed, Fireball made his way into their living quarters at the rear of the shoemaker's shop. There his focus of attention fell on the youngest of the shoemaker's 3 daughters, Echo, the most beautiful of them. But an itinerant pots and pans peddler also happened to be smitten by her beauty. Fireball, however, staked his life on Echo's good judgment, dodging as he then did the imaginary arrows her pursuer shot at him. "Kill the doctor who'd brought this fool into the world," said the pots and pans man. Reluctant to damage his budding friendship with Echo, Fireball swallowed his pride. How he longed to shower Echo with passionate kisses as she flitted around in her father's kitchen, tending to whatever chores required her attention. For example, putting out a pan of water on the floor in front of the cook stove for her cat to drink. It took so little to satisfy Fireball. He lapped up this water while down on his hands and knees. Echo got the greatest enjoyment seeing him do so innocently. This situation created a clash of temperaments among Echo and her 2 sisters. Echo refused to drive Fireball away. Indignant, Echo's sisters sent a message to the pots and pans peddler, enticing him into humiliating Fireball in front of Echo. They selected Pickleweed Commons as the site for turning Fireball inside out, where flocks of stately white geese groused the tall yellow grasses growing along the edge of a pond. "Say yes, oh please, say yes. Aid us," was their message that encouraged the pots and pans man. "As your reward we both will serve you according to your wishes." As he had read this message, an owl swooped down out of the birch trees, screeching so virulently that anyone who'd heard it swore it was an alert that evil was afoot. "Why do you grin at us so?" the elder 2 sisters had wanted to know of the pots and pans man. Privy to their ill will, he'd devised a plan. The afternoon of this same day he disguised himself as a court jester and entered the cobbler's shop. He gifted the old man 2 bags filled with silver coins, explaining to the cobbler how this currency accrued to him while traveling throughout distant lands. "A small gift for you now," he said. "Much more to come your way later." Next, he renounced any claims upon Echo's amorous attentions, further telling the cobbler, "Ah dear me, good father, I paid too little attention to sharing my love with Echo's radiant sisters. His pronouncement, although filled with gaping holes as to its truthfulness, left Echo's eavesdropping sisters to their own devices. Their wild imaginations carried them away. They believed that the pots and pans man actually desired them. "We can endure him," the one sister assured the other, and vice versa. The old shoemaker roared disapproval. "Is this what life means to you two witches?" he demanded to know. "Life, as I understand it, is no game involving a choice between the lesser and greater of two evils, but a choice between what is morally right and wrong. My shoe repair shop will be Fireball's. My house is too." Thus it was then that Fireball and Echo married. They gave life to a son with a handsome face equal to that of Echo's father's. Together all three of them, Echo, the old shoemaker, and Fireball, knew the true meaning of a warm hearth and a happy heart.